In this video, I am going to show you how to solve for each variable on this formula. The first one, the simple one being x. If they ask you to solve for monthly installments, you highlight the x, right? That is what you're solving for. And then you check. I is dividing relative to what we want to solve. So it's dividing on the left, on the right, so it must multiply on the left. So we're going to have FV multiplied by I is equals to x in bracket 1 plus I to the power n minus 1. And then this is what we're solving for. And then if you check here, the bracket is multiplying on x, so it must divide on the left. So on the left, we already have FVI. We're going to divide it by that bracket. We're doing inverse operation of multiply. Because the bracket was multiplying on the right, it must divide on the left. And then we are now left with x. And now x is the subject of the formula. And then the same thing goes to solving for n. Now let's solve for n, ladies and gents. They will never ask you to solve for I on this formula because it's a little bit complex. So to solve for n, let me highlight it. I see that I need to open the brackets because n is closed inside the brackets. So what I'll firstly do is I have to move the x and the I. So I have to move the x and the I. Now let's see. I is what? I is dividing. So on the left, it must multiply. So I'm going to have FVI. And then you can see that x is multiplying. So it has to divide the side. And then now the bracket is open. We have 1 plus I to the power n minus 1. The minus 1 must go to the other side. So it becomes plus 1. So we have FVI over x plus 1 equals to 1 plus I all to the power of n. And then from there, we're going to have n is supposed to be the subject of the formula. Let me still highlight it. So to make n the subject, we use logarithms because n is the exponent. So if n is the exponent, we use logs to make it the subject. And then what we do is this. The exponent always becomes the answer. So your answer is n in this case. And then remember, this is the base of the exponent, right? This is the base. So you're going to have log of base. The base goes to the bottom, 1 plus I. And then here you put what is on the left. It's FVI over x plus 1. And we have now isolated the n. Does make sense, ladies and gents? And obviously, you are going to use the same methods for isolating the present value formula, which is x 1 minus 1 plus I to the power negative n all over I. You just follow the same procedure that we used to isolate the future value formula. Thank you very much.